Welcome in, you O-Niners, PCHers, private detectives, small grocery store owners, and teens on spring break to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast, where we go through episode by episode in one movie. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about Season 4, Episode 1, Spring Break Forever.
Woo!
Crap. I don't remember how James Franco does it in that movie, but I tried to do it.
I've never seen that movie.
I've told you the review of... I'll share it on the podcast. Went and saw it in the theaters on a... I think probably a spring break or something, and went home, and my friends and I went and saw it in the theaters. The movie ended, and the guy in front of us stood up, said, "Ha, that's it. That movie was shit, but I saw a lot of ass, though," and then left. Well,
there you go.
Yep.
That's my thesis statement. That movie was shit, but I saw a lot of ass, though.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that. I in a writing for film class, I wrote a review on that movie and included that quote.
Love it. Love it.
But back to Veronica Mars. Hey, guess what?
What?
We're in the future again. Or are we in the present?
We're in the present.
We're now.
Well, we're in 2019 now.
2019, yes.
It's a whole different world back then. You used to be able to go outside without a mask on.
Weird as hell. I think in the show, it's actually 2018 because it's 4 years after the movie.
Is it 4?
It's set 4 years after.
When Keith was at the doctor, I thought he said a different number.
Said 5 years ago?
I don't know. I could also be wrong. I have been wrong before.
Well, I am also happy.
Oh no, he said his car accident was in 2013.
Oh, okay.
But which car accident?
You're talking about the one where he got hit by a fucking truck that was driven by what we can only assume is the police, but we never got an answer to it.
Well, but remember how also, I guess it would have been before 2013. Remember, he's gotten hit by a car before.
That was in 2007-ish, 2006.
Yeah.
The fucking Keith has been...
He's got more concussions than an NFL player.
Totally, and he's been totally innocent on the driving wise on that time. He has just been driving once by a drunk driver, and then the other time...
And then he went back and made... Oh, he didn't have brain damage from that one because he went back and made love to his lady lover.
Yeah, I'd say he was feeling just fine. Just shook up and decided,
What is it with everyone in near-death experiences and sex?
I don't know. I don't get it.
It's like men, when they write TV, they're like, you know what? Heavy emotions, high emotions. You know what we should do with that emotion? We're just going to fuck it out.
Pretty much. Or I guess it's like, I don't want to have any regrets.
Yeah, no, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to do after getting hit by a car is like put the effort into anything, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the hospital. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to wait here with the car until someone can drive me to the hospital. I'm feeling pretty freaked out.
Yeah. No, it would not be good.
But in this one, in the other one, he got taken to the hospital because Sax got killed.
Yeah. And Logan saves the day.
Yep.
By pulling Keith from the car.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I would really like to know an answer to that, but it seems like there's just been a turnover at the sheriff's department, and now we have a police department. Unanswered questions there that we'll get into later. But production-wise.
Oh, because Neptune was it incorporated? Was it turned into a city?
Are you talking about the vote from season 2?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that didn't pass, but I guess...
No, but I know, but between then and now, I'm wondering if it was
have.
incorporated.
You're probably right, yeah. Because I remember, I wrote it down, and I'm like, police department? Did this change? Lost my train of thought. That's all right. I had mentioned in our previous episode on the movie, you can go back and listen to that one, that's a good time, that they were talking about, when I say they... not Veronica Mars, my God. Kristen Bell and Rob Thomas were talking about a potential sequel to the movie. Obviously, that didn't pan out. And in 2016, they were both quoted like, hey, we're actually looking into making this limited series instead.
Love it.
2 years later, in August of 2018, it was officially announced that they were bringing the show to Hulu.
Well, and this really, when this came out, this is what triggered us into watching it.
Absolutely. Because I was like, oh, we should finally watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I remember triggering it, it was supposed to be released on July 26, 2019. But after, when they were at Comic-Con, which was July 19th, so the week before, they announced that the season's going to be available later that day.
Yeah, I remember that. That was cute.
Like, oh, shit, yeah.
Wasn't it Kristen Bell's birthday?
Oh, really?
Was it? Wasn't it someone's birthday? And they were like, for my birthday, we're releasing it early.
Oh, let's see.
I could be wrong, though.
Let's see if it says her birthday on her. July... Oh, yeah, hers is July 18th.
Got it.
So, pretty much like day after. So, that's cool. I didn't remember that part. Yeah, they get the old band back together, same producers, got same head writer, and brought in new writers and things, including on one episode, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No way!
Yes. Not this one, but on a later episode. I think
my mom's going to be so excited. My mom loves Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If there's one religion in my family, it is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't ask. I don't know. My mom's a Lakers fan, but only for the years that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was on the Lakers. If not, my mother is a Sacramento Kings fan. And I could not possibly explain to you how that works in her brain. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I was born in it. I'm indoctrinated in it. And I practice this religion as well.
Exactly. And hey, I mean, who doesn't love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
God. What a man.
Exactly. Amazing basketball player and is now just like a writer and
like a good person.
Yeah.
Like it seems like one of those people that's just like not a dick.
Totally.
Which is like a low bar, but like when you got a dick, that's the bar.
Absolutely. And
I don't personally know him, so I have no idea if that's accurate, but I have no reason to believe otherwise.
Public opinion, yeah, exactly. At least like in
the court of public opinion.
Exactly. On and off the court.
Oh my God.
Basketball puns. Yeah, and then they pretty much get the band back together. But noticeably absent, which not noticeably, because you would kind of it makes sense that he wouldn't come back. There's no Piz this season, so Chris Lowell is not part of this. He has been quoted in like articles when they're asking like, is Piz coming back? And it's just like, yeah, I'm done with the character.
Yeah.
And which makes sense. Like there's no room really for him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there was like some weird episode of like Veronica's feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, it runs into him somewhere.
Right. And because he's not even from Neptune, so they're
like he's visiting Wallace for like a college reunion. Like,
right.
I don't know what you would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bit of a weird one there. But yeah, we are now with our new show in Prestige TV mode.
I know, it looks so nice.
It looks very nice.
High quality.
Absolutely. I'm sure
My first note, high quality AF.
Totally. Yeah. Do you want to jump right in?
Sure. My second note, voiceover. 19 years. 10 away from Neptune. Like these are the notes that I was like, I'm going to need to remember this. Like I wasn't going to remember how long she was away.
Maybe.
She spent 19 years. Like, she was 19 when season 3 ended. I think I can understand how old you are at the end of freshman year.
Right.
And then it's been a decade. It's not like they picked like a random ass number. She was away for 10 years and then she came back. And now it's been 4 or 5 years since the car accident, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start with Veronica giving us a voiceover, getting us up to date on her with that timeline that I just spent way too much time on. And then she tells us about the mad bomber at the Sea Sprite.
Yeah.
That killed 4 people.
I do want to make one note up top when she's talking about Neptune. She's doing the like, instead of like...
the addiction reference?
Right, exactly. It's less of the original series vibe of like, when you're a spy, sort of like cheesy dialogue. This is like, damn, hard-boiled Veronica. And she says, this town needed an enema. It's like, okay, all right. Let's calm it down here.
I mean, yeah.
It's really cheesy. It just makes you laugh. You can't say that with a straight face. I mean, she did.
Well, I don't know.
Because hats off.
Well, she also did the voice on Gossip Girl. I'm sure she can say anything with a straight face. Who ended up being not even like they didn't.
Yeah.
I wanted them to just like bring in Kristen Bell
and
that.
She's Gossip Girl, and people, "How are you?" And
like
she's like, "I've been in the background the entire time."
And then they show like flashbacks of every season of just like her standing in the back corner every time.
Just digitally chopped in, or like her walking through a door through important scenes.
It's just like her and then like her like putting like little spy cameras and like shit, so that because like how else would she, some things like that show doesn't make any sense, but that's a whole nother issue we can never unpack.
Yeah. Scholars.
But Veronica, maybe it was Veronica.
Oh, there you go.
A crossover.
The 09ers of New York.
Exactly. She went to go visit Piz. That's how we're going to get him back on the show.
This is what she was doing during that time. She was spying on high schoolers.
God, I hate it. I hate all of it. But so we find out about the Mad Bomber.
And that would actually line up show-wise, because like when this ended
timeline.
was when Gossip Girl was going. Yeah.
Yep. The Mad Bomber at the Sea Sprite, it killed 4 people. So we get our first like timeline 2 days before the bombing. My first note on this, she's going to help a woman who hired her because her ex is fucking with her. It's a whole thing. We'll get into that in a second.
But played by Eliza Coupe.
My first note on this is I love it's the commitment to the giant like messenger bag purse for me in 2019. Like that purse is like one, like no longer quote unquote trendy, which is fine, whatever. We don't give a fuck about that. But like heavy as fuck. Like wear a backpack. That can't be good for your shoulders.
No. But it's like an important piece of Veronica flair.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's the camera, the taser, the bag, and a leather jacket.
So it's she's going to the house of this wealthy woman who's paying Veronica to help her because this woman's ex-boyfriend, whoever, someone who lived in her house with her.
She talks about divorce.
Was fucking with her via her smart house. Basically, he had set up the internet, so he had access to the Wi-Fi. We'll get into that in a minute. But like then he was just like, like playing music, changing the Nest thermostat, all of that. And that's when you realize, oh damn, I forgot how when you watch the show, like from the beginning, you're like, this nice like 2007 technology.
Oh right.
And then all of a sudden, it's like now your thermostat can like be a changed by someone who's not even here, whatever. So I appreciated that they didn't try to like dumb down the tech. Does that make sense? To like that they made it a little bit more current, because I was like, oh, I never even think about that. And then like how well the hidden cameras are.
Totally. Yeah. It's very present day technology of upgrading Veronica's
like skill set.
Totally. Yeah.
And it shows that she's like back in the game. So then she's like,
like fully 100% like running this again.
Mm-hmm. So Veronica then like finds where the man had hid the cameras and like all the shit, and then changes the router so that way he can't fuck with her stuff anymore.
Yeah, great scene of just Veronica smashing stuff.
Yeah, trying to find the camera. I also made a note here that Veronica is rocking the middle part, proving that millennials have always been cool if you put them on Kristen Bell's standard, which we don't. But
right.
I thought it was funny because I was like, this is before, like, I mean, if you're not on TikTok or Twitter, you don't know. But apparently millennials are mad at Gen Z because Gen Z told millennials that they need to have middle parts and millennials don't want to. And then they also said that millennials shouldn't wear skinny jeans, and apparently grown adults are upset about that. Can't figure that one out.
We need to get the vaccine. We need to get people out of their houses. They're getting in fights with children on the internet. We need to stop.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you're gonna fight with children on the internet, like, one, don't fight with children. But two, like, if you're gonna argue on the internet, argue about something fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like, why don't we fight the patriarchy?
No, not that.
We could fight the patriarchy instead of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But
less divisions. Never mind,
among the women's, what were you gonna
there
do?
You go. Yeah.
So then Veronica's like, you know what, Miss Lady, that it's paying me, who is played by
Eliza Coupe, like comedy character actress that you will know from a ton of things, but mainly from Happy Endings.
Got it. She's like, no, we can fuck with your ex-husband. And the woman's like, how? And Veronica's like, I sent flowers to his house, so we have spy cameras in his house. And then while he's getting it on with the nanny, I assume. Was that what it was?
No,
like
he is divorced from Eliza Coop and is now like we've
dating
seen this,
a younger woman.
Yeah, we see this twice. It's like the rich guy that has divorced his wife and is now dating the younger woman that's like, way younger.
And so they fuck with him by like turning up weird music and just like in general like making his life miserable because two can play at that game.
Totally.
And Veronica's like, I just need final pay. And so the woman's like, how much again? Because she was talking the whole time about how wealthy she is. So Veronica charges her $6,000, I believe, right? Because it was $300 an hour.
Yeah, that's what she.
$300 a day. Love that. We love that. You know what? The wealthy don't mind.
Yeah, totally. That's 20 hours worth of work.
Yeah. So then Keith, we cut over to Keith. He's at the grocery store. Hugh's Grocers?
Yeah, Hugh.
Customers keep finding rats like in different sections of the store, but exterminators can't find a nest. They can't find any droppings. It's where the fuck are the rats coming from? And the man who owns the store, Hugh, is struggling because like all these other stores in the area have raised their prices. This is the only affordable grocery store, but like how can you keep things affordable if everyone's getting freaked out by the dead rats? And Keith has a weird...
Fishy, it seems.
Yeah, Keith has a weird moment where he forgets like that he'd already asked a question, and we see kind of like Keith's first like senior moment, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, we get Keith like being... Because he's walking around limping, because he's got a like... because post-accident, he's obviously still messed up. But we get that like his first signs that he's in like serious decline. Which is a little rough.
Yeah.
And a character arc to have for like that Keith is getting too old, like almost.
Yeah, like I don't know what they're trying to say with this.
No, and he's like supposed to, he would probably be, in his 60s? Maybe. Or if he had like Veronica late, he'd be like 70s. But still, like, it's weird that it's like he's like getting too old for it when he's not. So I find it a little weird that they're like setting this up as him being like run down and like out of it.
Yeah.
And just for perspective, Enrico Colantoni is only 58. So I feel like they make his hair whiter too. I don't know. That could just be a
lighting thing or like
exactly. I mean, he's mostly bald anyway. But so we've been watching The Expanse at the same time, and as soon as him and Hugh are walking down the aisle, I'm like, you get away from that man.
Yep, Hugh is played by
Francois Chow, who plays Jules Pierre Mao.
Exactly.
But people like me would probably know him from Lost, from all the Dharma Initiative videos.
Oh God.
Yep, that's how I know him.
So then Keith comes back. He's like, you know what, Hugh, I'll help you. Like, we'll figure out a price for you, because Hugh's worried about money. So then Keith comes back to Mars Investigations. He and Veronica now have this cute little like dual office. I really miss the office from the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Because there's like less personality, even though it looks nicer.
It looks professional, but God, at what cost?
Totally. Yeah. There's nothing in the
stained glass window.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I loved that.
And then even the frosted window on the way in with the logo. Yeah, it's just kind of like a normal office space that you'd rent out. Well, it looks nicer for sure, but it is nice that they have 2 equal-sized offices across from each other.
So then she's like, Dad, do you feel emasculated? I made $6,000. He's like, how did you do that? And she's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Make some jokes about her sleeping with her clients. And then he's like, if I was going to feel emasculated by you, it would have happened years ago. Like, it's fine. And I think I'll be okay.
Tremendous line.
And I love it because I'm just like, yep, that's right. So then they're talking about their plans for the evening. We find out through this that Veronica lives with Logan, but he's on tour somewhere. In his whites, I'm sure.
Exactly. Looking good in the desert, probably.
So now she's going to go home to hang out with her dog, Pony. Keith invites her to meet up with him for a city council meeting because this group who calls themselves Nuts, the Neptunes United for a Tidy Town, They are having like they're presenting an initiative, and Keith is fishy because it's ran by Casablancas.
Yes. Always be suspicious of Casablancas.
Always be suspicious of Dick Casablancas, Jr. or Senior. So then Veronica's like, I'm gonna go home. She goes home and she opens the door, and Pony's there. Pony is very cute.
Pony is incredibly cute.
I like Pony. Pony also sees Logan's bag on the floor. Yeah, we do miss Backup, but I'm sure Backup wasn't in the movie.
No, he wasn't.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about it until Pony was staring at us. I'm like, oh crap.
You forgot about Backup.
Do you think Backup he must have stayed with Keith?
Oh yeah.
And then she just, was living in New York doing her own thing?
Well, I would assume that, yeah. I don't know how old Backup was, too.
Yeah.
We didn't really see him a lot in season 3.
No. Damn. We slept on you, Backup, and we're sorry.
We apologize, Backup. We'll do better.
We will.
So then...
Pony watch.
Veronica sees Logan's bag. She's like, Daddy's home. So Veronica lives in an apartment by the beach.
Yeah. Beautiful apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a nice apartment. She goes down by the water, and it's spring break, so there's kids out everywhere. Just fucking teenagers and college kids everywhere.
Yeah, this is what, having grown up in Southern California, I don't know if this is really, actually a thing in Orange County. It's definitely not in, San Diego. Maybe more towards, PB, which is where, the college kids lives, but that'd be, regular. But there's no, spring break gathering the East Coast Florida, but that's what this is trying to be.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny.
It's Cabo, but in San Diego.
Totally, because instead this would be spring break, but it would be a bunch of families and random people all dispersed together. It wouldn't be this open drinking party on the beach.
Exactly.
So it's just that weird disconnect that they're telling their story and having fun with it, but of course being damn, but it wouldn't be like this. Raining on the parade over here.
So then Veronica sees a man exiting the water with a surfboard and his tiny swim shorts.
Oh yeah, they found the tiniest swim shorts where you could not call it a Speedo.
Yeah, they're shorts. They're not Speedo.
They're even higher than what Sean Connery wears in Dr. No. They took the seam up even higher a little bit. You got to see all of the quads, all of the leg.
He's got a good leg muscle. They want to show it off. So he's getting out of the water, and Veronica had stopped by these girls, and they think he's hot. And Veronica's like, "Oh, him? Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, isn't he hot?" And so then she calls him over, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to come move some furniture in my house for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. What's in it for me?" And so then they make a hilarious joke about her bartering sex for him moving her furniture. It's really not that funny.
No, it really isn't.
And then
it's forced.
It's forced. Well, and it still smells like misogyny.
Totally, 100%. And they're flexing their streaming muscle, I guess, that they can say more things.
But then he goes back to their house, and we get a sex scene. We get reminded of how small Veronica is, because we've watched Very Large Logan pick her up a lot in their sex scenes. That's what I've noticed.
Honestly, the close-up on the hands is what got me. It's just oh, this is her putting her hand inside the Hulk's hand. She's going to teach him to not be so angry.
As someone who also has small hands, do you feel maybe you're is this what I
I'm what the fuck is this? My hand's the same size as my partner's.
You're Logan, hold me.
Pretty much. The monster is going to take care of me. It's just so funny. It's just focused. It's man, small hands.
Okay.
What size is he wearing? XLs?
XL hands? Well, just ring size.
Right, pretty much.
Which will come up in a minute. So then they have their sex scene, and then Logan's showering. He's got a giant bruise on his back. Veronica's like, "What's that from? You gonna tell me?" And he's like, "No, I think I won't." And then Veronica's digging through his bag, see what he's got in there, and she's like, "I found sand. You must have been somewhere beachy." And he's like, "Or we live on the beach."
Yeah, intentionally teasing her about like the nature of his job, not being able to do it because obviously he's like some sort of super secret military personnel.
Yeah, where he can't tell her anything.
And Veronica can't help but dig because he could never tell her because that's literally his job.
So then she's like digging through his bag, and they were somehow marriage comes up, and he's like, "Let's get married," from the other room, and she's like, "No, I know you don't mean that, because when people mean that, they are in the same room as you when they say it." And there'd be a ring, and he's like, "Well, have you checked all the pockets?" So then she finds a ring. It is just loose in this bag. There's no box. I have a lot of questions. This boy was raised wealthy. There's no reason why there shouldn't be a Tiffany's box or like an expensive, like I don't know.
What did he do with the box?
Where is the box?
No, he just went, okay, I don't need the box.
Did she take it out of the box in the bag? Because why?
No, she just pulls it up.
Yeah.
Like as if she was like grabbing like a dirty sock or something out of the hamper.
And he goes in there to propose to her, and she's like, "We aren't getting married. I watch married people destroy each other for a living. Like, you saw what happened to my family. You saw what happened to your family. Like, marriage is bad. No, thank you." And I was like,
I am concerned about this.
Yeah, I feel like part of the problem is that they decided that over those 10 years or whatever, that Veronica never emotionally matured in terms of like relationship status or like relationship feelings.
Yeah.
And, like,
or of letting people in, being close to people.
Yeah, completely. Like, you came back to like quote unquote save a town, but you're not going to let people in. Like, you have to it would be so isolating to actually be her.
Totally. 100%. And I don't
she doesn't tell anyone anything, and they don't explore that at all.
No.
If you're really going to not tell anyone anything, then like explore that piece.
I think that's what's coming up for this season. And that's why I say I'm concerned. Because it's like, I don't find that engaging because I don't think it matches Veronica.
No, I think as much as I think what they did towards the end of season 3 when they started to make her dumb and gullible because she was in love, like that didn't work either. But like Veronica's like very much like, I want to analyze this, but like also I've picked a person and I've picked a thing, and this is like, I am loyal to this person.
Yes.
So then a marriage, like a ring, wouldn't scare her because she already made a choice. That's just a piece of jewelry. And
this is a thing that has never been brought up before.
Yeah.
Her like, I'm never getting fucking married, like, because she's been a serial dater this entire time.
Yeah.
And while it's never like brought up that just marriage isn't brought up at all. So it's like a weird phobia to have. Also, what this does is completely and utterly absolve Logan.
Yeah, of any and all sins he has committed.
Exactly. We have shifted the blame completely to Veronica. Logan has grown now. Look at this, like...
Well-adjusted Logan.
Totally. And we get that throughout the episode of like him rubbing it in of like, he has grown so much, but Veronica has not grown at all. Which is rough.
Well, it's also like highly unrealistic just from the nature of like being a woman and existing in the world and being a man and existing in the world. Like who could get away with not emotionally maturing would be the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could, and because of his privilege, his not only his white male privilege, but his wealth. Like there are so many aspects to that he would have access to that she would not, that would make it more believable if he was the one that was stuck. Absolutely.
And we've seen that in like season 3 is all about him being stuck, which is brutal to watch. Not fun. And then, but to have Veronica not have learned she's obviously learned things, but not to have like grown in that sense is, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't like that piece of this new season because now it's all on Veronica. And that was a similar thing with the movie too, that was gesturing at with the whole addiction thing, that it's Veronica's problem.
Yeah, it's her problem. And he's just like a piece of it.
Totally. Not that there's like a million external things that have like really fucked with her. So I don't know.
So then Veronica runs away to a city council meeting to go meet up with her dad because she's like, I'd rather watch Nut than have to talk to Logan about why I don't want to marry him. And we find out that Papa Dick found a used condom on the beach, in quotes. And so he thinks the town needs to be cleaned.
The clown. Yeah. Well, oh God, who would you pick up a used condom and put it in your Ziploc?
Yeah, there's no chance in hell. So then Veronica, while they're sitting there, also tells her dad that Logan asked her to marry him, and he said, "What an asshole." We love that. We love sassy Keith. And then we get a new character. So after Papa Dick talks about how we need to have a cleaner town because he's nuts, this woman who owns a local bar takes no shit. She stands up there and she's like, "Oh, so this group will have to approve every single thing we do and sell. So like, how do you feel about this inappropriate shirt she's wearing?" I don't remember what it said.
Mm-hmm. It was wet your like, can you wet your beak? Like wet my beak or something like that.
I thought it had to do with dicks.
Oh, maybe wet your dick at Captain Quack's or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong though. I just
no. I couldn't remember if it said dick or if it was like a
gesture towards dick.
Excuse me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But so we like her. Veronica's like, who's she? Dad tells her. We find out.
Nicole Malloy.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut over to Nicole Malloy's bar.
Yeah. And she's played by Kirby Howell Baptiste, who you might know from Killing Eve, but also Barry. Forgot about that. I like that show. And most importantly, though, The Good Place.
There you go.
Yeah. Good times. I like her a lot.
So we cut over to her bar now. There's boys there.
Yeah, but
Spring break boys.
Captain Quacks, Senior Quacks?
Senior Quacks?
Captain Quacks.
Captain Quacks. There's college-age boys, and they're objectifying women. They've decided they're going to play this game. It's called the Rejection Game, and whoever gets the most rejections in the night wins. So they're going to walk up to women that are, quote, out of their league, and then see how many times they can get rejected.
Yeah.
This is what we call toxic masculinity.
Totally, but in nerdy form.
Yeah, you've created a hierarchy of women, which is also problematic, because I've never seen a woman who wasn't, like, beautiful and worth talking to, but I've seen many men who are
Comrade Quacks.
Yeah.
No, yeah, completely. And we get all sorts of that across these teen boys in various forms.
Yeah, they go up and bother one of the girls that's like at the bar with her friends, and she immediately rejects him.
Yeah. It's playing in this like nerdy
guys never get girls.
Yeah, and they're like angry at the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like also why would this group of kids that like want to play like D&D be at spring break?
Well, because someone who peaked in high school decided that the nerds wanted to be them.
Yeah.
And then they wrote this.
Yeah. It is a fucking trope, and it's like, why? We gotta have the class of like kids, so we gotta like beat up on the nerds.
Yeah, which is funny because like at this point we know the nerds won. Nerds won.
They did. Yeah, Marvel movies are what they are. And I will say the scene at Comrade Quacks is our first hint of like how they've really like changed the show. We aren't getting what seems like a case of the week at this moment, because instead we are no longer following Veronica. And while we would get that in the original, it would like flash between like main characters. Here it's much more like a roving camera, and we're seeing multiple different points of view of like setting up lots of different interests happening all at the same time. So here's where that like new form of like serialized of storytelling is coming in, of like one big arc playing out. So it's
amongst smaller character, or like like a smaller moments.
Yeah, exactly. And instead of like the case of the week, one big focus for like the season.
And then so we're at Comrade Quacks, and a girl passed out. She was drunk. She fell asleep at a table, or at like a little bench thing. And a weird, gross guy goes over to bother her, because that's what men do.
Yep.
This is one of the many reasons why I hate men. And so our Nicole, right, our business owner,
Yes.
She sees this happening and she calls security over there, but they're not coming fast enough. So she's like, I'll take matters into my own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And she has I feel like brass knuckle gloves, like hard knuckle gloves. I don't know. She had some sort of
Yeah, she definitely had
a glove that was weaponized.
Yeah, totally. Must have had, I think it's got some sort of hard
metal
plastic or something. Yeah.
So she beats up the drunk boys until her security gets there because she's like, fuck this, you're not going to fuck with this girl. And then she yells at everyone to tell that they need to find this girl's friends.
Totally. Yeah, find her shitty friends.
Yep. Which is 100% true. Then we get a cut over to 2 new characters, Santiago and some other guy.
Yes. So Santiago and Alonzo.
Thank you.
Alonzo played by Clifton Collins Jr., who has been just in everything and is always fucking good. When he showed up, I'm like, hell yeah, this guy's great. Mm-hmm. He's in everything. He was recently in Westworld. He's been in fucking Star Trek, Traffic. Oh my God. He's in a million things. And I was really excited to see him. He's just one of those good character actors.
Mm-hmm.
Who just God.
And he's the one who plays Alonzo, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they are covered in blood. They're driving through Mexico, we assume, because everyone's speaking Spanish. Then they pull up.
We get a ticker that says they're in Tijuana.
Oh, you're right. And they pull up at a police. Basically, there's a police stop, and the Santiago's real nervous about this whole thing, and Alonzo's like, I'm not worried about anything ever.
Pretty much,
which is terrifying.
Yes.
And so then the police come up and they're like, we need you to, because they hear someone banging in the trunk. They're like, we need you to open your trunk. And he's like, no, I work for
I will find it. It is
El
Despiado, I think. Oh no, where is it in my notes?
You have it on the back of that page because I can see it at the top, but I can't read it from here.
El Despiadado.
Thank you. I was like, I can see it, but I can't read it.
Yeah, but I appreciate the help on that one. That's just classic comedy bits is what you get here. Physical comedy on this podcast where, we're holding up something and it's just I've got the map upside down and we're both agreeing that we have no idea where the mountains are on the map.
But I've got my hand over the mountains and we spilled coffee on it.
Exactly. So we end up going the wrong way.
Yeah. So they then get past the police because the police are like, oh, of course. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And then they drive out to the desert and they shoot the guy from the trunk.
Yeah. Guy in the trunk tries to make a run for it because he hits Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
So then Alonzo shoots him and says, so it goes.
Mm-hmm. Then we cut over to Keith. He's taking his morning pills. By God, does he have a pill container like no other?
It's totally. And we get a montage set to music of Keith's rundown.
Yep, Keith does physical therapy. He goes to the doctor. He's experienced headaches and memory loss since 2013. Or his car accident was in 2013. He's experiencing the memory loss now.
Yeah, it's been happening for a year.
Oh, I thought it was just recent.
It's gotten worse.
Oh, okay. And he's like, here. The doctor's like, here's some new medication to try. Doesn't explain it. And I'm like, cool. We love that.
Yep. Vague medication, right?
Then we're in Hughes. Veronica and Keith are in the grocery store, and Veronica calls her dad out on not charging enough for their services. He's like, it's, you know what? It's fine. We do what we do and whatever. Just keep hiding those cameras.
Yeah.
Then
she also asks how the doctor went, and he hides it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't tell her about his new drugs.
Yeah, everybody's hiding something again.
Everybody's hiding. It's the name of the game on this show.
Another reason I don't like this Keith thing is, that he's hiding it, too. Too proud to, be vulnerable with his daughter also doesn't...
It doesn't play well for him.
No, and we've been over this.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple times. I hate when they don't talk to each other about stuff, even though they've gotten over that hump so many times.
Because it feels like lazy writing.
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, we couldn't think of anything else to make them like not have communicated or like to not have like to have friction.
Totally. They couldn't come up with a new conflicts for Veronica to have.
Then we cut over to the hotel.
Yes, we get our pieces being set in motion here. Keep an eye on everybody following.
The sea sprite. I wanted to call it Sandpiper, but I knew that was wrong.
Sandpiper is correct from the show because that's what Dick Casablancas owned, and it was the old motel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the sea sprite. So the dad and daughter, the dad who owns the sea sprite, his daughter's giving him shit. She's a teenager. She's like 16, 17 because he put cinnamon in the coffee.
Yeah,
she doesn't like it.
This is someone I'm like, okay. Maddie.
Yeah,
Maddie Ross. I was like, okay, I see what we're setting her up as, like some younger foil. Like I could get behind this.
Mm-hmm. Some sassy girl with a dad who's like, hey, I'm following your footsteps, but like also like I'm gonna do it my own way.
Hey, here's this mirror in this in the sea sprite.
Then one of the kids staying at the sea sprite comes to check out of the hotel. He's like, I'm gonna go stay at the Neptune Grand with my fiance.
Yes, we saw this rich couple in the club with the
girl who was hit on by the nerd.
Yes, exactly. And they had talked about like having friction with that it's like, oh, your
his
parents
family
don't like me,
yeah.
And he's like, no, they love you.
They offered her money to walk away from him.
Yes.
So then he wants a refund. The dad's like, no, like I'm sorry, you can't not pay for 5 days that you booked.
Yeah.
And then we get a pizza guy.
Oh, who might this be?
I don't know. Who is it, Brenton?
It's Patton Oswalt.
Playing the pizza guy.
The
nerds had ordered pizza. They're drunk playing D&D. And so Patton Oswalt has like a 5-minute long scene of him walking around trying to figure out where this fucking pizza goes.
You know what? I fucking enjoyed it.
Really?
Yes. I
like Patton Oswalt. I just was like, this scene is a little long.
It really is. It's long for sure, but like just having Patton Oswalt like grumble his way around a motel is like pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I think I'd want to watch it as like a comedy show, but not like, you know what I mean?
like half the time.
Yeah. Like
just have him have him get rejected by the kids that are at the one room and point him down the hall.
Or like when when the one kid was like, oh, that's ours. That's definitely ours. And he like tricks them. He's like, oh no, it's a different type of pizza.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to have two different people at the same party, like
give him directions.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need to have the girl point out that he's weird.
Yeah.
That's implied.
Yeah.
She could have given him a dirty look and walked away.
So he takes the pizza over to the nerds, and then he's going to go downstairs and deliver another pizza to the front. We'll get to that in a minute. The boys are playing D&D, and one of them is not, and he realizes that the Wi-Fi is down. We also find out that nerds don't tip.
Yes.
That's what I wrote down. Nerds don't tip. That's not a general rule. I know many nerds that do tip. I've actually never met a nerd who didn't tip.
Yeah.
This is nerd slander.
It absolutely is. I know these kids are all sheltered, privileged, nerdy kids, but like we tipped.
The nerdy kids that I knew, like, were always, quote unquote nerdy kids. They were always like good tippers and like nice people.
Yeah. Mean.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas.
I didn't not want to date them because they were nerds. I didn't want to date them because I didn't want to date them.
They might have been doofuses and paid in like small like bills, but there was always tip.
And the tip might have been a collection of $1 bills that they had found amongst each other. Because but it would have been enough that it made sense.
Yeah, I'll pay you back, man, I swear.
Yeah, exactly. Or actually one kid would have been like, you know what, I'll take all the ones, and then like you guys just all give me money because it makes more sense that way.
Yep. That is actually accurate. Ripped from my life.
The one kid with the conscience.
Exactly.
Maybe the kid with like a single mom who's like had to pay for pizza before, or like, you know what, guys, everyone give me $1 and I'll leave a $5.
I've got a 20, guys, just pay me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, we're missing your $1, but I'll get it from you later. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so then one of the kids from that group, he's like, I'm going to go downstairs to the front desk because the Wi-Fi's down and I need to ask why. Pizza arrives downstairs. Patton Oswalt. Pizza arrives. That's what I wrote.
Pizza arrives. Pizza Oswalt.
This makes me really want pizza.
It really does. The more we talk about it, the more hungry I am for pizza.
We don't have pizza.
No.
he's coming downstairs to deliver it. The father who owns the Sea Sprite sends his daughter out to go get her homework from the car. Then everyone else is still downstairs in the lobby, including the girl who was hit on in the bar. She had brought down the makeup case of the girl who was leaving with her fiance.
Yes.
Because they were leaving and she had forgotten it. And then some kid had walked in there to hit on her because he thought she was cute.
Yes. The big bro
who tried to steal the pizzas.
Yeah, and the
kid who came to check the Wi-Fi.
Yes. And then the couple that was there. When the two girls are talking, the one girl is like, "Oh, the family even tried to pay you off, and you're sticking around." Like that's
they've gotta love you,
or like you'll still persevere, kind of thing.
Well, and she was like, "It shows that you really love him." Like that's what she told her. Like they'll like you because it shows that like you're not willing to take. Like it was a test. Like they were just trying to see if you wouldn't take him, basically. Just a cute concept, but we know that's not true. So then our pizza guy leaves.
Yeah.
And
waves at Maddie,
who's in her car, and big boom.
Yep. So
the Sea Sprite explodes.
Yeah. So obviously we need to know it's a compelling scene of like, okay, we've got multiple different interests happening here that we're definitely going to be diving into later through these episodes.
Yes. So Veronica gets a phone call from Keith. He tells her about the big boom while she's at Wallace's house for dinner. Wallace calls her back into the house so they could have dinner. And Logan is playing with a baby. Wallace has a very cute baby.
Here's another example of what we're talking about.
See,
Logan's ready for children.
Well, and what's weird too is like Veronica's like, well, where do you put it when you're done? You know, like she makes a joke about it, and he's like, in the room with the toys with all the clothes that his auntie Veronica bought him. So it shows that it's like, oh, she's cute and cuddly with the baby, which is how you would think Veronica would be. She'd be like, okay, I bought him his first spy kit, and like I'm gonna teach him how to use the taser when he's 7.
Totally.
But like
to have her then be like, child phobic.
Like to pretend like she doesn't like kids, which is like, it's also fine to be like, you know what, I don't really like kids, but like
I don't want kids, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if they're doing probably because Rob Thomas doesn't know how to really write women. They're doing a gender flip thing of like what is normally would be the man of like, ugh, I don't want to have babies, I don't want to settle down. But with Logan being like, see, we should have babies.
Are you afraid of babies?
A little bit.
Me too.
Like, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, like they're breakable. You can't. They don't speak English yet. Usually, when you get them, depending on how you acquire them.
That's true. But neither of us are like the nag.
Exactly. Well, no, but that's what I mean. Yeah, it's not. There's no like I don't think it's also this when men write women, which is what they're doing to Logan, of women being super comfortable with babies, and it's like a lot of like I'm comfortable around babies, and like I'll hold your baby, but like most women aren't like, I don't know, like not everyone I know, especially like at that stage, is like, you know what, I need one, and I need one now. Give me baby.
Right.
Some people are, and that's fine.
Totally.
You're allowed to want babies. You're also allowed to not want babies.
Yep. Either side is acceptable.
Don't let Logan make you feel bad about it.
Yeah, don't let your impossibly buff boyfriend with giant hands make you feel bad about it.
Well, and if that's really important to him, then like why are they in this relationship?
Totally.
Like, is he waiting for her to change? Or is he okay with it?
Right. And then
that's not okay.
And then there's another trope, right? Is he forcing her to change?
Then there's slander about Mrs. Fennell because Wallace's wife talks about her coming in.
We haven't seen her.
We haven't seen her in a
years.
decade.
Yeah.
And here she is saying that she was saying they didn't have enough salmon in the house because she was worried the baby wasn't getting his omega-3s.
But Wallace is married now to a big shot lawyer.
We love that. Seems like he's happy. And then
Wallace's life seems quite charmed.
Yeah. Then
in the suburban sort of way.
They're all sitting at the table talking, whatever. Veronica's definitely not paying attention, not focused, very out of it, very kind of weird.
Right.
And then she's like, we should probably go soon. And Wallace and Logan are like, no, we're going to play Cards Against Humanity.
Logan specifically. Yeah. Logan does. Forces the issue.
Well, Wallace was like, let's play a game. Or do you want to play a game? And Logan's like, Cards Against Humanity. So,
she's like, damn, I want to figure out who fucking blew up the motel.
Yeah. because she's an addict. Actually,
She's
I don't know. I'd be really distracted about the idea that a motel blew up too.
Totally.
Like, why don't we all just talk about it, and then maybe I can move on?
I think luckily not talking about the addiction piece in this episode, at least, like where charitably works, of like, okay, she's distracted because something really big happened and she wants to go investigate.
Yeah. She wants to go figure it out.
Which, totally fine.
We cut over to Cliff.
What a great fucking scene. I love this scene.
He is handing out business cards at the hospital, and basically he's got an arrangement where he drops off chocolates for the nurses or snacks or things, and they let him check and see which patients are in what room on the clipboard that's on the wall.
And we've got great music playing, and he's just like, it's just jazzing, like he's totally like charming everybody, because everybody's like, okay, hey, how's it going, you ambulance? But that he's doing it as an ambulance chaser, it makes it so much better. Oh, I fucking loved it. So
Cliff he hands out a business card to the pizza guy who is calling out of work because he had been part of a bombing.
The most realistic thing in this episode.
He's like, no. He's like, I'm on morphine. Like,
I'll be back to work soon.
Yeah. They had to shave my back to take the glass out of it. And then we got the police chief, who is a woman.
Oh, and I did want to say the blonde girl ended up surviving.
The girl, yes. So we find out that the boy who had been trying to leave with his fiance is the brother of a congressman. And we see the police chief and like trying to talk to the family, but the mom and the brother like really aren't having it. Specifically the mom. The police chief says she'll come back later. Cliff passes her in the hall.
Yes.
Cliff comes in to check in on them, and the brother, who's the congressman, he's like, hey, do you know anyone that could look into this? I don't think that police chief is going to find the answers we want. And Cliff's like, I know someone who could help.
Yeah, smart. So this is Congressman Maloof, Daniel Maloof. And then their new police chief is Marsha Langdon.
Thank you. Yeah. So then Veronica and Keith are at Mars Investigations, and the Maloofs come in, and they are very, very wealthy, obviously, because it's hard to run for Congress when you're not. And it's just insinuated through the episode, but and they take the case because the Maloof family is basically like, the police might solve it, they might not, but like we want to have our own investigation and we're willing to throw money at this.
Yeah.
And Keith and Veronica are like, okay. Veronica's like, it's $300 an hour.
They're like, okay.
And then we get Oscar.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did you mention that the congressman's brother was the rich kid of the couple?
Yeah, with the fiance,
okay.
Who we assume died.
Yes.
He lost a hand. So then we cut over to Oscar. Oscar, we find out, is
El Despiadado.
And apparently his ex-wife is visiting him because her nephew Gabriel was blown to pieces.
So that was the kid from the D&D group that went down to check on the ladder.
So she gets him to send his guys to go, like, she's like, you need to go send your guys to like go check in on my family and figure out what the fuck is going on and like find out who did this.
But also we get another scene of like ex-wife nagging
ex-husband while he's got his like hot young girlfriend outside who doing yoga in the sun.
We get I wouldn't mention this earlier, but it's lots of women bikini butt shots in this. There's even a shot like directly underwater of like the college kids partying of like girls' like ass in an inner tube,
and it's like a thong bathing suit. Like it's just odd.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of objectifying shots in this.
Which for 2019 is like, this is too late for that.
Right, this is a little much. I mean, the Logan shit is like that's fair play. Come on, like you're doing that on purpose, and it calls attention to it by like making him slow-mo getting out of the water. It's like a Baywatch scene, but instead he's walking out with the surfboard.
I would even like, I mean, I wouldn't like it, but the idea of like Veronica being like looked at sexually by Logan. You know what I mean? Like, it's at least like it makes sense.
Totally,
but,
yeah.
Like when it's like these random girls that you're just like,
Yeah, it's just a random ass shot.
Yeah, these are random college girl ass shots.
Yeah, or just a random woman walking in a scene. We put her in a bikini.
Yep. So then we cut over to Alonzo and his family. They're playing soccer with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they get interrupted because a head gets thrown over the fence.
Yeah, it's Santiago.
It's Santiago.
We hardly knew ye.
Yep. Alonzo gets called in by another worker.
It is Dodie Mendoza.
And they get sent by their boss to go check in on what happened at the Sea Sprite, basically.
Yeah.
Sending your own agents to go investigate, I guess, and find out who planted the bomb and
get revenge.
Blow them back up.
They get to take the Yukon,
mm-hmm.
but not the bulletproof one.
Exactly. Love that.
Totally.
Me and the Pope. We have our bulletproof cars.
Totally. It's funny, like...
Could you travel over a border with a car that's not yours?
I mean, they probably can.
Okay.
I don't think you can unless it's like a rental and you have the rental paperwork. I doubt you could. At least not at our border.
Yeah.
Or I guess you're driving over the border, you'd be going through a checkpoint. Either way. So yeah. But it is interesting that like how much bigger of a scope this season has. Like all these other people, like I mentioned, like all these other people are going to be playing in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Much
more current storytelling wise.
Well, and then to wrap it up, we're at the crime scene at the Sea Sprite. Veronica and her dad are there. They're talking. Keith is like, I heard did Logan take the no to marriage well? And she's like, like a well-adjusted fucking human being. How annoying. She's like, I caught him playing with a baby. And Keith is like, oh God.
What did he say? Like, dump that clown or
something
exactly.
Like that? And then Veronica is kind of like eyeing the crime scene. And we see the pizza guy. He's talking to the press. Keith fills her in on that. And then we see a young girl standing in all the rubble, kicking things around. It's the daughter of the business owner. But we know that. Veronica doesn't know that yet. Mm-hmm. But we get this whole voiceover about Veronica who's like, it would have been better for everyone if I had just walked away here. But instead, like, I saw a girl and like I saw myself in that girl and I felt bad for her and I knew I needed to do something for her.
Yeah. I like that.
Like that she cared about the girl.
Totally. And that it's like, okay, so Veronica's gonna take an interest and.
But I don't like that she's like, it'd be better for everyone if I hadn't.
Yeah, it's doing the foreshadowing of like something bad's gonna happen. What's gonna happen because Veronica's talking to us from the future.
But it could have even been like it would have been. Would it have been better if I hadn't? You know what I mean? Versus
right, like doubtful, rather than like damn.
Yeah, because then it eradicates any good she does.
Right. Because then it's automatically like being banked as a negative in the future. But
yeah. Episode 1,
yes.
Season 4.
I really liked it overall.
It's a lot better minus the ass.
Totally.
If I could go through and edit the ass out.
Yes, and clean up.
To quote the guy who saw Spring Breakers with you.
Yep.
What was it?
That was shit, but I saw a lot of ass though.
Yeah, except it wasn't shit, but I saw a lot of ass though.
And just clean up some of the stuff that they obviously find really funny, like the sex repartee. It's not very funny. Or like the women being like, damn, my dirty ex-husband, which I feel like is something that's like Hollywood obsessive.
Well, because it's once again men deciding that women are so sad when they leave them that they care about who they're fucking.
Right.
You leave me, I don't give a fuck what you do.
You're dead.
Yeah. You're as good as.
Yeah, totally. So it like that stuff sucks. But all the rest of it is like, damn, like this feels really good to be back. In Neptune doing this stuff.
Yep.
It feels good again. It hasn't felt good for a little while. Well, except for the movie. We like the movie. It's goodwill carrying on from that. So I'm excited to see.
Without all the slander of Piz, or the damaging of Piz, not slander.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how dare you?
Well,
is that slander right now?
Oh God, I like Piz.
Yeah, I know. So yeah.
Shall we plug?
Yeah.
When I am not here doing this in this microphone, sometimes I'm sitting here doing this in this microphone for our other podcast.
Oh.
It's called But Really Though.
Really?
Though is spelled THO.
Because
I like slang. And it is a podcast where Brenton and I each pick a subject and we research it or we look into it if it's not truly fact-based, and then we share it with each other. We try to pick something that we think is fun or interesting or educational or something that will help us be better people or make us laugh.
Damn right.
You can find that wherever you stream this podcast. It's also on Twitter at ButReallyThePod. You can also find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO, just like the podcast. I am a life and career coach. I help people get their shit together. I help people prep for interviews, create career plans, and just general goal setting, all of that fun stuff. I worked in HR, so I do know what I'm talking about, unlike some of those other clowns out there. And you would be surprised at the shit I see. Mm-hmm. The shit I see, where I'm like, have you held a career? But it doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's about me. And I am happy to do a free discovery call with anyone who has never worked with me before. You can sign up for that on butreallythough.com, or you can check out the blog or my YouTube if you want to learn more about me. I recently posted a post about a little pre-interview tips and a YouTube video to go with it. That is But Really Though as well. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at BTRLYTHO.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can also send us an email at marsrewatch@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at PyleBreton. That's PyleBrenton. And you can find our Let's Play. We're playing through Outer Wilds over on my YouTube channel, Burger Discourse. That goes up every Wednesday/Thursday, depending on how long the upload takes.
Love it. All right. Stay toasted, marshmallows.